Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I am Jordan, and we just got done doing the Wild Turkey kind of comparison, the Wild Turkey 101. Now we're going to do a Russell's Reserve comparison. Now, couple of variables here, some things that aren't necessarily fair. So we got a Russell's Reserve 10-year, just a standard. What do they call it? Do they call it small batch? No, it's just a Russell's Reserve 10-year, age stated, ringing in at 45% ABV, 90 proof. This is old enough that the laser code doesn't say the year on it. But I do have in my notes that I purchased this in 2021. This is the LLME laser code from 2024. Again, a standard Russell's Reserve 10-year age stated bourbon. And then this one is my Russell's Reserve single barrel, and this is coming in at 110 proof. So 20 proof points higher than these two, which are coming in at 90 proof. So just did the review of the single barrel here and this LLME. This is LLME 20. So the two laser codes that people were really excited about were the LLME 17 and the 20. Those were the ones that had the special juice in them that some people thought might have some of the extra barrels from the Russell's 15 bottlings put into them. Now, that was not confirmed. However, it's definitely different. These two are definitely different. But if you can somehow still find one of those laser codes, again, you're going to have to go to a store that doesn't move a ton of product, but somehow managed to get a shipment in 2024 that they haven't gotten rid of yet. You can still find this. I mean, that's not an unobtainable goal, but if you can still find it at standard Russell's prices, you are so far ahead of the game. I bought this one in 2020 for, I think, see here, $32.89. I don't know what this one my hunting partner bought for. Let's just call it 38, 39, 40, $45, somewhere in there. I don't know. And then this single barrel I bought online and I paid $72.99 for. So $73 that I bought online. Not too bad once you considering that I didn't pay any shipping on that. That's not too bad. So we're gonna get into these. We're gonna compare them. I know I kind of already compared some of these, but just to kind of put it out there. And again, just like the Wild Turkey 101, I have no idea what the flavor drift of this Russell's is. On a 10-year product, though, that's pretty awesome that you can get a 10-year product just standard off the shelf for 30, $40. And to me personally, I think that bourbon kind of lives in that 8 to maybe 12 years. 15, you're starting to push it for me. You're starting to get too oaky, too tannic, too bitter often, in my opinion. But that's just my flavor profile. Again, this is going to be your left to right, my right to left. I should set it up the other way, but whatever. This is where we're at. So we are going to give these a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a warm up here. And I think this is probably going to be the last video that I shoot today because I don't have any other products at the moment that are new for comparisons. I think this might be the last video that I shoot for a while because I don't really have any other new bourbons or whiskey for that matter. But I get a very similar nose to the Wild Turkey 101, the standard 1 liter bottle that I had sitting here. It's a little bit green on the nose, a little bit dusty, and way down deep in that glass, I'm getting some brown sugar, molasses. Now it's starting to turn into that standard cherry that I like, that fruity cherry. The whole nose profile is starting to change and open up here. Yeah, getting into that standard fruit, cherry, blossom that I'm getting from all Wild Turkey products, a little bit of peanut on the end. Going into the LLME 20 here. It's just not fair. It really is not fair. The density on this bottle compared to this bottle is, I don't think I'm lying if I say this just smells 2 or 3 times heftier, denser, richer in flavor. It just smells like a product that really, really want to sit and enjoy. And I will say this LLME really coats the glass a little better and seems to be more viscous. As far as color goes, they're pretty similar. But a deep, rich, sweet molasses, brown sugar, confectioner sugar, caramel, a little bit of that cherry note in there, but not, that is not the mainstay. That's not the front and center. It's sweet, sugary, dark, dense, sweet, sugary notes that are taking front stage in this. In the single barrel. Now again, single barrel products, I feel like I'm cheating when I review a single barrel product for you because number one, it seems that my local stores get terrible single barrels. So whenever I get excited for a single barrel, I'm like, oh man, like my E.H. Taylor single barrel. Super excited to get it. It was not the best single barrel. Buffalo Trace single barrel. Or not Buffalo Trace. Wyoming Whiskey single barrel. I've had some really good ones. My local store was not that awesome. There's been a couple more that I can't think of right now, but like they just don't get the best single barrels here for some reason. I don't know why or what that is. The first couple of noses on this, it smelled a bit green. But as I move it around, warm it up, it's definitely, these two are starting to line up a little bit more. This single barrel being less dense and complex than this one, but sweet, brown sugar, molasses. The ethanol is a little bit more pungent in this, even though, I mean, I know the proof is higher, but it's stinging my nostrils a little bit more. But getting a nice bit of that caramel, cherry blossom. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but my pump for my furnace, the water pump, just kind of kicked on and gurgled a little bit, but we'll see here. But surprisingly, now I don't think I said it this way when I did the review, but I think this single barrel is maybe it opened up a little bit in the bottle. I don't know, but the nose on this is smelling better than this LLME. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But let's go in on the taste. Man, that's still just young, green, light, which is interesting because it's 10 years. And now it's a little bit more, just that very first nose out of it is just green, like very vegetal. But now, more heft. Not as dense as these two, but it's light caramel syrup, confectioner sugar, a light sweet cherry, fruit cherry. Pretty good. Palate, very simple, sweet, forward. Light caramel drizzle, hefty graham cracker, kind of the end of the beginning, all the way through the mid palate, and it's not until that's the dominating note, like honey graham cracker, all the way to the finish, where you pick up some oak tannin. Once you get into that, the light proof in here, you get an oak tannin, that finishes out, and then you get like a vanilla wafer after that oak tannin on the very end. Here what we are 10, 15, 20 seconds after the initial finish on that, I get a vanilla wafer cookie on there. Super delightful, very nice, not very complex. There's not a ton of notes in there, but what is in there is super enjoyable. I would drink that all day, every day, no problem, especially at $33. LLME 20. Here we go. Just, it is so much denser in the nose. Going in on the taste. Different beast. Coats the tongue, even at 90 proof. Dark, dense, fruit cherry, a little bit of dark chocolate mixed in there. You get a nice old antique oak tannin that's coming through about mid palate, and that's what's carrying through to the finish. So this is like a pretty young oak. This is a dark, dense, kind of, I'm talking pappy type oak, where the oak has a presence and a voice all into its own, but you get that dark cherry in there, almost like a chocolate covered cherry in there. But so like it's like a dark chocolate covered cherry with a sweet caramel drizzle over the top. Um, Man, there's a bunch of things going on to this. We're gonna come back to that for a second. We'll do a second sip on all these just because that's really good. Um, and wow, okay, now this single barrel all of a sudden, the nose is just sweet. Very first nose going back into it was sweet caramel, uh, vanilla wafer, a little bit of vanilla frosting, a little bit of honey. You still get some of that light fruit cherry in there, like one of those marbled orange or yellow and red cherries. Um, this is more of a Bing cherry. This is more of a red and yellow cherry. And just sweet, sweet, like cupcake sweet. You get that sweet up front, but it's not super, super heavy or dense. Just a nice, light, almost thin, sweet up front. Pick up some oak with a bitter oak tannin in the middle that comes with the proof, and then you get into graham cracker, a little bit of peanut on the finish, some more of that oak tannin, and then a sweet. So the finish is actually really nice. It's really well balanced between those four flavor profiles. They all kind of come together and carry out for quite a bit. But in that mid palate, it seems like they're a little bit jumbled, where there's a couple of little spiky bits in there, and that might just be the 110 proof hitting kind of in that mid palate as well. But I would say that it is not as sweet as the nose is. Like this is just a sweet caramel bomb up front on this nose, but in the palate, it's more complex in the palate and it's more subdued. Like you're expecting a really sweet treat of a whiskey, and you're getting some of that, but it's less than the nose sets you up for. Yeah, nice, sweet, subtle, easy drinking. I like this. Um, yeah, that's really good. It is really good. Um, it's just more dense, more heft, more darkness in both the sweet flavor and the cherry flavor that's coming through in that. Like a dark bean cherry, dark chocolate notes, like a 70% dark chocolate where it's still sweet, but got a little bit of that bitter in there. The oak has a little bit more bitterness to it, but in a really positive way. And the finish carries that oak through. It just drinks so much older than these other two from the way that the oak's presenting itself. It might not be older. It might not be that 15 or 12-year-old or whatever they think it was, but it's different. It's definitely different. And now coming back to this is really sweet in the glass, the nose. And coming off the heels of these two going in reverse order, it's just sweet, light fruit. Um, yeah, it's that cherry. I still got the oak from this kind of carrying over, so it's impacting this quite a bit, which is interesting because I know that all the oak is coming from this, not from this. Um, and it's starting to turn bitter. Like the combination of the two is really making that oak a little bit bitter. So um, it's interesting. I would say you cannot go wrong with any Russell's 10 that you get off the shelf. I don't think there is. If you're a bourbon drinker, this is a great 90 proofer. I would pick this up over the standard Buffalo Trace any day of the week. It's more complex. It's about the same price, and it's a 10-year age stayed bourbon. So you're probably going to have a much better time with this. Um, if you can find the LLME 17 or 20, I've never had the 17, but this is 20. 2024 is when this was released. If you find that, pick that up. Pick up two of them if you can. It's outstanding, but it is. Prepare yourself for being more involved in the whiskey. It's denser. It's something you're going to want to sit with and sip and let it evolve over time, and has more complexities to it, more heft to it. So if you're just getting into whiskey, it might be a little bit much for you, even though it's only 90 proof. The flavor profile, there's a lot going on there. Russell Single Barrel. It's hard to say because it's a single barrel. So if you don't have this barrel, then I can't really help you out. But having watched a bunch of different people's reviews of the single barrel, it seems like it is just a pretty good program all the way through. It's a little bit much in the $70-$75 range. If you can find this in the $50 or $60 range, pick it up all day. I don't know what the MSRP is on this, but I don't know. I think there's better single barrel programs out there for the price. Um, but I think if I'm ranking these two are pretty well tied, but for different reasons. The flavor profiles on them are different for sure. This is more viscous and dense. This is more sweet and keying in on more of the notes that I prefer. So for that reason, I like them both. But considering this was way cheap, like half the price of the single barrel, like this is gonna win out every day. But I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. So go ahead, drop in the comments down below. What's your experience with Russell's 10, any of these or the single barrel? I'd be curious, what can you find them for in your area? Is this something you're looking for, picking up, checking out, your go-to? Let me know. I think I'm like, it's for me personally, this is how I'm going to finish this video out. If I am narrowing down bourbon, so I have this whole bar, which you can't even see the end of it over here. This is all up one shelf, or like split in half. This side's rye, this side's bourbon, and then the bottom shelf is all bourbon. I have a lot. I'm not the biggest bourbon guy. This is all Scotch, mostly peated. Um, and I'm a big fan of all of that. Big rye fan. I have become a bourbon fan. If I am picking up bourbon, I am in Wild Turkey as a distillery, the Russells or the standard Wild Turkey, the rare breed. I even like the Long Branch. That was one of my go-tos for quite a while. Their rye, not terrible at all either. Big fans of all that stuff. So Wild Turkey is the distillery I look at. Old Forester, go watch my comparison video. The Old Forester Signature 100, it costs 20 bucks. One of the better bottles you can find out there, and you're probably going to find it in a liter for 20-25 bucks. You can't go wrong with that. Green River, for sure. Wyoming whiskey, I can't sing their praises enough. And then, of course, everybody loves Buffalo Trace Distilling. I am a fan of those as well. I'm more selective though. I'm at E.H. Taylor, definitely the single barrel proof. Blanton's blew my mind when it won my blind. It's really good. The straight from the barrel is absolutely fantastic. The Weller 107 is a great bottle. Skip the Weller 12. If I can get my hands on a Weller full proof, I'd be pretty happy, but that might be the only other Weller I would ever look for. Stag, uh, Stag Junior Stag. That is always on my radar. Fantastic bottle. I got two Elmer T. Lees. I'm probably out on those, even though I'm getting them for like $28. That's probably it. The Eagle Rare's not really my jam. It's okay, in the 20s. It's a $20 bottle. Yep, sure. I'm paying $23 to $28 for it. But those are probably the distilleries I would key in on. And I think Wild Turkey Distillery gets overlooked quite a bit. You can find it in mass on the shelves everywhere you go. So don't be afraid to jump in on that. I think it's for the money, probably one of the better distilleries out there. And because they're not doing the same allocation BS and all that stuff that Buffalo Trace is, you can have a great bottle for a reasonable price anywhere you go in the country. So check them out. Thanks for watching. Drop in the comments down below what you think of Russell's 10-year or the single barrel, what your experience is, what you can find it for. Can you find this LLME, either the 17 or the 20 laser code in your area? And yeah, I'm curious to see how this does. So that's it. That's all I got for this. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video. I don't know when that will be because I currently do not have any new whiskey on hand. And I really just wanted to do these quick comparison videos. And so these will drop sometime in February of 2026. And it's probably going to be a little bit of time before I go out and hunt new stuff. Although locally, my liquor store might be getting a stag in or something like that. So if I can get my hands on that, I will do a review of those, although I haven't heard the greatest things for the 2025 stags. But other than that, I still have my hit list, but I have slowed up tremendously on those and am not really in the hunt for a whole lot. But if I find some new bottles, I will buy them, bring them in, we'll do the review, and yeah, stay tuned for those. So thank you very much. You guys have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video.